Hello, this is a NewsLink Indiana weather special report. A significant Memorial Day in East Central Indiana. We had 5 confirmed tornadoes take place across East Central Indiana, wrecking a path of damage from Henry County all the way up into northwestern Grant County as well. One of the most significant tornadoes that occurred was the one in Pendleton that caused some damage in that city. It was rated EF2, winds of 130 miles per hour. Caused a path of damage nearly 6 miles long. The tornado was around 100 yards wide as well, and unfortunately caused 1 injury. Here's a look at what we were experiencing on radar as that tornado moved through Pendleton. Notice that classic hook shape, and on our velocity as well, which indicates these green colors moving towards the radar, red moving away, indicating some strong rotation right over the city of Pendleton. And a few minutes later, as that tornado exited the city of Pendleton, still some very strong rotation on radar, as well as some debris indicated. This is a product you don't always see. These blue colors indicate particles in the air that are irregularly shaped, that usually indicate debris in the air. And we saw that as that tornado moved out of Pendleton. And as you might expect, we saw some damage that occurred along with that tornado as well into portions of Pendleton. Notice this house, some roof damage, as well as some structural damage in place. This is when the National Weather Service went and did their survey in the city of Pendleton. Here's another photo with some more roof damage to this house, really indicative of that EF2 tornado damage. We saw some major power outages and other issues in the city of Pendleton in the subsequent days of that tornado as well. We had 2 tornadoes take place in Henry County. This one 2 miles south of Middletown. It was rated EF1, just on the ground for a short period of time, and it's relatively small in width as well, just 50 yards wide, 110 mile per hour winds with that tornado as well. The second tornado dropped around 10 minutes later in Henry County, this time 4 miles east-southeast of Middletown, also rated EF1, 110 mile per hour winds on the ground for a little bit longer, nearly 2.5 miles. And was a little bit larger as well, with 200 yards wide. But thankfully, neither of those tornadoes caused any injuries. Now, in northwestern Grant County near Somerset, we saw an EF2 tornado took place, caused some damage there as well. Winds around 120 to 125 miles per hour. 4.2 miles long was the track, and a width of nearly 150 yards wide as well. Thankfully, despite some of that damage in northwestern Grant County, no injuries were reported as well. Weather forecaster Nathan Gidley has the details on a tornado that struck Blackford and Wells County, as well as what's been causing this stormy setup in the first place.
Thanks very much, Gabe. And as we transition to the northern portions of our area, this is along the Blackford and Wells County line. It's one of the northern portions of our viewing area. An EF3 tornado struck this area with 150 mile an hour winds just around 9 o'clock on Monday. I actually had the chance to go out and do some damage surveying in this area. It was a 12.8 mile tornado with 1,200 yards wide. So this is a significant tornado, and it unfortunately caused some injuries to a local dairy farm in the area. So here are some of the images I gathered. This is the pictures of the dairy farm, and wow, look at the severe wind damage to this farm, as well as some other damage to a local barn, as well as a house in that area. It actually impacted one of our own NewsLink Indiana members. This is one of our sports members, and this is part of his property. Notice the significant tree damage to this area, and as this storm worked through, it was a very dangerous setup across the area, and just see how much the winds caused this. This is actually a piece of farm equipment, a very tall and large piece. It tossed that thing around like it was nothing. So this was dangerous winds. Luckily, everyone was safe and okay and got the warning. And that's the important thing here, is you have to make sure you get the warning and get to safety and get cover in your basement, because this was a dangerous situation, and luckily everyone made it out okay in this situation. So let's transition to the setup of what happened with the severe weather here across the area. And it was a real stormy setup. On Monday, we had this big high pressure, a big ridge in the southeast United States. And this ridge actually caused waves of storms to ride around the jet stream. While they're basking in heat down there, we were stuck in a very stormy setup. And as we zoom in closer to our area of the Midwest, this was a warm front that set up right across the portions of our viewing area. And as this warm front worked its way through, that allowed for a lot of spin in the atmosphere, a lot of rotation to come into the area as the cold air retreated. And this system definitely caused some dangerous weather, including tornadoes, across the whole viewing area. And this setup was a very dangerous setup, and luckily we didn't have any fatalities with this setup, but for sure this was a very significant day in weather history in portions of Indiana, and thankfully everyone made it out okay, and there were no fatalities and only a few minor injuries from this event. So this has been your NewsLink Indiana special report from weather forecasters Gabe Pro and Nathan Gidley. And for more weather updates, follow us on Twitter or on Facebook. And make sure to stay with NewsLink Indiana Weather at NLI Weather for any of your weather needs throughout the summer. And we'll be back here full time in the fall. We're looking forward to it.